Assalamualaikum students. Before going to our educational topic, please subscribe my channel Muntazir Mehdi Science TV on YouTube. Press the like button and share this lecture to your friends and classmates who have no access to it to add in their science education. And those students that are preparing privately can benefit from our channel very effectively. Let's come back to our topic, that is polysaccharides. Students, polysaccharides is the third group of carbohydrates. Before this video, we have studied the monosaccharides in which sugars were present singly, lonely. There had not present any bond among those single sugars. For example, students, if we see these two sugars and if there not present any bond in between both of these sugars, then these sugars would be monosaccharides. Next, in the case of oligosaccharides, second class of carbohydrates, 2 to 10 sugars were joined with the help of bonds. Which bonds? This you must see in my previous videos, oligosaccharides and disaccharides. Whereas students, in the case of polysaccharides, we shall obtain more than 10 monosaccharides. Simple sugar units like glucose will be obtained. Students, more than 10 like more than 100, 250, 300, 900, 2000, 3000 like simple sugar units combine and on hydrolysis. Students, if we hydrolyze a particular polysaccharide, then we shall get all those simple sugar units, simple monosaccharides, those joined to form that polysaccharide. For example, if we try to hydrolyze a polysaccharide of 500 combined monosaccharides, then students, on hydrolysis we shall get the separated 500 monosaccharides. This monosaccharide represents that it has 495 monosaccharides. Further, if we separate those, then these will be separated as. Students, this represents the first point of polysaccharides characteristics, that polysaccharides undergo hydrolysis process, and on hydrolysis polysaccharides produce simple sugar units, simple monosaccharides like glucose. Students, the examples of polysaccharides are cotton, potato that we eat, rice that we also eat, all plants, wood, seeds, grains, and fruits. All are the examples of polysaccharides. Students, all of you know that every plant, every tree has made up of billions of plant cells. Every plant cell has its outermost wall, cell wall. Students, from which material plant cell wall is made up? Can you tell me? Think, think a bit. Yes, students, plant cell wall is made up of cellulose material. What is cellulose? It is a polysaccharide. Likewise, chitin that is present in the cell wall of fungi is also a polysaccharide. Students, some other biologically important examples of polysaccharides are starch, glycogen, cellulose is also dextrin, agar, and pectin. Similarly, peptidoglycan that is present in our skin is also a polysaccharide. Students, with the help of a diagram, if we try to make a diagram of a polysaccharide containing 300 monosaccharides that join with each other to form a polysaccharide, then as I can't draw the remaining monosaccharides on this whiteboard, so these points show that the chain is still continued till to the third 100 monosaccharide. So students, this simple example represents that more than 10, that a large number of monosaccharides, many monosaccharide units when joined together then form a polysaccharide. As students, poly means many, saccharide means sugar. So when many monosaccharides, many sugar units join, then we shall get a polysaccharide. Students, it is also said that the polymer of many monosaccharides is called polysaccharides. Most of the students confused by this definition, but it is very simple. How? Let's see. Students, when a large number of monosaccharides, when many monosaccharides combine to form a specific shape, a specific configuration, because poly means many and mer means shape, configuration. So when A large number of monosaccharides combine to form a specific polymer shape. Then this specific shape is known as polysaccharide. Dear students, with the help of this simple diagram, we can also understand the characteristics of polysaccharides. Let's talk about the taste of polysaccharides. Students, monosaccharides are sweet in taste. Oligosaccharides are also slightly sweet, but polysaccharides are tasteless. That is the second point. For example, if we try to check a small moist wooden piece, then we will know that polysaccharides are tasteless. So polysaccharides are not sweet, tasteless. Therefore, it is not suitable for polysaccharides to say them sugar. Because students, for a sugar, it must sweet, it must soluble in a suitable solvent. But polysaccharides are not sweet, are not suitable to dissolve in a solvent, are tasteless and undissolved. So instead of sugar, these are called non-sugar. So students, polysaccharides are non-sweet, non-sugar. Third characteristic is that these are sparingly soluble in water. Consider if we try to soluble a moist wooden piece into water like solvent, then is it soluble? Students, no, never. Only the liquid material of the moist wooden piece will be dissolved, but its wooden part will never be dissolved because it is hard, as polysaccharide is present in every plant of the world in the form of cellulose. So these are most abundant in nature. Fourth characteristic. Students, as we have seen that a large number of monosaccharides are joined with each other by glycosidic bond. So it is fifth characteristic. Dear students, glycosidic linkage. I have learned to you in my two previous videos, oligosaccharides and disaccharides. For it, watch that videos, because by watching that videos you shall clear your concept about glycosidic linkage. Students, as carbon, hydrogen and oxygens are present in a polysaccharide and a large number of many monosaccharides are joined, so they have higher molecular weight. That is the sixth point. Students, these are some important characteristics of polysaccharides. Simultaneously, we will also discuss some more characteristics during their discussion. Furthermore, students, next, the general formula of polysaccharide is C6H10O5 brackets N. N means a large number of units like this, that is a monosaccharide unit join with each other to form a polysaccharide, because here N is used to represent a large number of, namely many monosaccharide units. So the N can represent the 100, 500, 2000 like number of monosaccharides, and similarly so on. Dear students, here a question comes in our minds that where does this C6H10O5 come from? Try to think. Did you find the answer? No. Then I tell you. Dear students, actually it is the formula of glucose C6H12O6, a monosaccharide. When this first glucose, first monosaccharide joins with a second glucose, second monosaccharide, then by the release of a water molecule H2O. So when H2O is released, then two hydrogens from here, from 12 hydrogens are released, and one oxygen molecule is released from these 6 oxygen molecules. Then the remaining molecule is become C6H10O5, because by the removal of two hydrogens, remaining 10 hydrogens are left, and by the removal of one oxygen molecule, 5 oxygen molecules are left. Consequently, dear students, the actual thing is that during the joining of two monosaccharides, two hydrogens and one oxygen molecule is removed in the form of H2O, and the remaining sugar is left in the form of C6H10O5, that is also represented in this ring form. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 carbons, as 2 hydrogens have been removed in the form of H2, so remaining count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are 10 hydrogens and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oxygens. Students, this hydroxyl group is for the previous sugar. For that, this whole hydroxyl group is removed and only one hydrogen is removed in the form of H ion, so that H2O could be released, and remaining sugar possesses C6H10O5. That is the general formula of polysaccharides. And students, a large number of these sugars combine to form a polysaccharide. Likewise, when third sugar joins, then it also releases out an H2O molecule and possesses this formula in the form of a ring, third ring. Therefore, as students, as we add further simple sugars, then these join by the removal of one H2O molecule. Similar is with the next monosaccharide. Every ring has 6 carbons, 10 hydrogens and 5 oxygen molecules. But students, when we hydrolyze a polysaccharide, then we provide that removed water molecule and obtain glucose sugar units in the form of glucose rings. That's why it is written in the books that polysaccharides yield glucose molecules on hydrolysis. How many? Students, it depends upon the number of simple sugar units present in a polysaccharide that join to form that particular polysaccharide. I hope now you have truly understood that how is a simple sugar formed in a polysaccharide. Here N represents many simple sugars. Dear students, as we have seen that a large number of simple sugars are present in a polysaccharide. So these are most complex carbohydrates. Why? How? Students, in monosaccharides, we have seen that only single and simple sugars are present. In oligosaccharides, 2 to 10 sugars are joined. But in polysaccharides, students, many sugars are joined till to many thousands. So polysaccharides are most complex carbohydrates. That is its seventh characteristic. Next, we understand its types. First one is starch, second glycogen, and third is cellulose. That are very important and excellent types of polysaccharides. Students, although peptidoglycan, chitin, pectin, agar, and dextrins are also polysaccharides, but we will discuss only these well-known types that are included in syllabus. Dear students, all of these three polysaccharides are present in living organisms in the stored form, in the form of a storage compound. So these perform the stored role in humans, animals, and in plants. Firstly, we study the starch. Students, starch is present in stored form, where in plants, like in the form of wheat, potato, tubers, seeds, grains, and fruits. In starch, students, a large number of smaller units are joined, combined. Which units? Glucose units. So in starch, a large number of glucose units join with each other to form long chains of starch. Students, these long chains of starch can be branched or unbranched. What is branched or unbranched? Let's see. Students, for understanding branches, suppose it is a straight chain of a polysaccharide. This straight chain has this side chain. Another branch is also present here, which also has another branch like this. Next branch also has another branch, which has another branch. Next, and next. So students, too many branches, complex branches are present in glycogen, but simple branches like this are present in a form of starch, amylopectin. So this is a notable point that complex branches, too many branches are present in glycogen, but students, simple branches are present in starch. In this way, polysaccharides are formed and every ring represents a monosaccharide. Students, next in linear chain, the linkage is 1,4 in the case of maltose and 1,2 in the case of sucrose. As we have already discussed in the case of previous video, these two sugars are joined in a linear way But for branching, students, the linkage is not so. Why? Let's see. Students, branching point is present here and branch moves forward like this. Every sugar in branch has 1, 2 or 1, 4 linkage. But students, but this branching point is very unique, special. This point is called branching point because a branch joins with the straight chain here. Students, this branching point has different linkage number than a straight chain. So memorialize that branching point has 1 6 linkage. So this bond forms at the 1 6 linkage, that is the bond of branching point. Now we prove this discussion with the help of a diagram. Suppose this is a ring, this is a second ring. To show a long chain, students, we write N, which represents that many rings are present here. Straight chain has 1 2 or 1 4 linkage, but as side chain forms here at the carbon number 6, so first ring, second ring of branch, N represents many rings. Oxygens are present here, first carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth carbon, and sixth carbon is present just outside of the ring. Students, during bond formation at the branching point, this sixth carbon is joined with the carbon number 1 of this branch. In this way, we can see that 1 6 linkage is present at the branching point. Students, H2O is also released by the release of hydrogen from first ring and hydroxyl group from the other ring. So by the release of water molecule, this bond is formed. Which bond? What will the name of bond be? 1 6, that is the branching point bond. So students, at the branching point, whenever the bond will be formed, will be 1 6 bond. Students, instead of forming sugars or rings, the branches can also be represented as, that is very simple way to show branches like a tree, like the branches of a tree. Students, next, starch is also further divided into two types, amylostarch and amylopectin, that are two different types of starch. Students, both are different from one another, so both have different properties. First one, amylostarch, and second, amylopectin. Students, one important thing, a question can often come as a short question in the exams that differentiate between the amylose and the amylopectin. Then you can write that amylose is the simple form of starch, whereas amylopectin is the most complex form of starch. Why, students? Why? Its reason is that amylose have unbranched chains of glucose. Unbranched means only linear chains, only simple chains. So although amylose is unbranched, so we will not find branches in this case. Whereas amylopectin are branched, you have already known about branches. So in amylopectin, we find branches like this. So its branches are simple, not complex. Second difference between the two is that amylose starch is soluble. Students, in which solvent? Answer is that in hot water. So only in hot water amylose starch can be soluble, whereas amylopectin cannot be soluble in hot or cold water, so it is insoluble. Next, dear students, we can detect the presence of starch by using a test. So to test the starch, we require iodine. If we combine starch with iodine, then which color will be obtained? Blue color. Students, so by obtaining blue color, we can detect that the starch is present in that particular compound. Okay, right. Students, secondly, we discuss the glycogen. The first name of glycogen is animal starch. Students, why we call it as? Normally, the starch that we have previously studied is the storage compound of plants, but glycogen is the storage compound of animals. Therefore, it is also named as animal starch. And that's why glycogen is stored in the form of carbohydrates in animals, students, in animals. Students, in animals, the polysaccharide is stored in the form that is called glycogen. In animals, humans are also included. That is the first point for our knowledge. So, glycogen is stored in animals. Students, if we consider humans and think that in which part of body glycogen is formed, is stored, answer is that in the liver, and we can also see it in muscles. Therefore, in liver and muscles, glycogen is present in animals as well as in humans. That is the second point. Third point is glycogen resembles with amylopectin, a form of starch. Why, students? Why? Answer is that due to the presence of branches. Because, students, too many branches, complex branches are present in glycogen. As about branches, we have already discussed. So simple branches are present in amylopectin, but too many branches like these are present in glycogen. Dear students, as starch and glycogen both are polysaccharides, both are carbohydrates, but there is a difference between the two, starch and glycogen. First difference is that starch is a plant storage compound present in plants only, whereas the glycogen is the animal storage compound, animal starch present in animals' bodies. Second difference between the two is that starch has less branches in the case of amylopectin, because in amylopectin case of starch less branches are present, but glycogen has more branches, most complex branches. These are the two major differences in between the two, starch and glycogen. Students, because there is a major difference in between the two, starch and glycogen, that is of the branches. Amylopectin has less branches, but in glycogen there are most complex branches. So students, if you are asked that to which starch does the glycogen resemble, its answer is that glycogen resembles more to the amylopectin, because the amylopectin is also branched like glycogen. Although amylopectin has less branches, simple branches, but it has branches like glycogen. Eighth point is that polysaccharides can be branched or unbranched. Students, about branches, you have known clearly. So these are the differences and resemblance between the two, starch and glycogen. Students, next, what are the smaller units of glycogen polysaccharides? Either those are glucose, those are fructose, or are mannose. Its answer is that the smaller units, the sugar units which combine to form a glycogen, are glucose units like starch. So many glucose units when joined to form a glycogen. Next, students, like starch, glycogen can also be tested. In it, glycogen is added with iodine. Then we will get red color. Students, the presence of red color represents that in an unknown compound, glycogen is present. So this is the test for glycogen, which is used to know that either a particular sample has glycogen or not. That is a very simple and easy test. Next, at the third number, we will study cellulose. What is cellulose? The most abundant carbohydrate, the most abundant polysaccharide in the world. It is present in such a large quantity that, students, any other carbohydrate does not present. So it is most abundant. Why? What is the reason, cause of it? The answer is simple. If you will see around you are, then you will know that there are a large number of plants and trees in the world. Every plant has millions of plant cells which are surrounded by cell wall. And in the cell wall, students, the cellulose material is necessary, essential in the cell wall. So that's why, because of this, the cellulose is the important constituent of the plant cell. It is most abundant, not only most abundant but also most complex. In addition to it, students, the bonding in cellulose is very unique and special because the smaller units in cellulose, as starch had the smaller units that were the glucose, glycogen also had the smaller units that were also glucose. Now, what are the smaller units of the cellulose? Students, try to guess. Can you guess? These can be different or these can be again glucose. These can also be fructose, mannose or galactose. Guess. Let's solve your problem and tell you that the smaller units of the cellulose are again glucose. So glucose are the smaller units of not only cellulose but are of starch and glycogen. But there is a big difference. What is this? Let's see. One glucose has joined to second, which to third, and finally N. Many glucose units have been joined. Students, here the linkage is very different, very special. What is it? It is not alpha 1 4 as was in the case of starch and glycogen, but it is different beta 1 4. That is a very big difference because in starch alpha 1 4, in glycogen alpha 1 4, but students, in cellulose the bond, the linkage is that is beta 1 4. Beta and alpha case I have already discussed in my previous video. That what are beta? Students, beta sugars are those sugars in which hydroxyl group of C1 is above the plane in the case of glucose. For example, it is a glucose ring, C1 of this ring. If hydroxyl group at the C1 is below the plane, then the sugar is alpha. But if the hydroxyl group is above the plane, then the sugar is beta. So in cellulose, glucose rings have beta 1 4 linkage. Students, here is very special for cellulose is that cellulose cannot be digested in our bodies in humans. So humans cannot digest the cellulose, but only herbivores. Students like sheep, goat, horses, cows can digest the cellulose. What is the reason of it? Students, everything has a reason. This situation also has a reason due to the presence of an enzyme that is very essential for breaking this bond beta 1 4, because beta 1 4 bond can be broken down with a specific enzyme that is present, students, only in animals, herbivores, not in humans, whose of name is cellulase. This cellulase enzyme is not present in our bodies. So, students, due to its lacking, humans cannot digest cellulose. We can't break it. Students, because the enzyme for starch digestion, which is present in humans, can break only the alpha 1 4 and alpha 1 2 linkage and can't digest the beta glycosidic bond, because starch digestion enzyme is different from cellulose digestion enzyme. Therefore, some bacteria and other microorganisms like yeasts and protozoa live in the digestion tract of herbivores and produce an enzyme called cellulase. Students, cellulase can digest the cellulose material by breaking the glycosidic bond. Its very good example is cotton and paper. Student, cellulose is highly insoluble in water as cotton can't soluble in water. Likewise, cellulose can also not soluble in water. Lastly, its test related thing is that cellulose gives no color with iodine, so it cannot be tested. Students, as you have known that I mention very important questions for you in my videos. So sometimes polysaccharide topic can come as a large question, but its short questions are differentiate between the glycogen and starch, or differentiate between the three types of polysaccharides like starch, glycogen and cellulose. Students, sometimes it can also be asked that differentiate between the amylose and amylopectin. You must prepare the answers of these short questions during study. At the end, students, take care of yourselves, maintain your education, give proper time to your Study because it is the only way by which you can serve your country and your nation. That is your responsibility in this time. Lastly, students, many thanks for watching this your video.